Mrs. Linda, please, to the high table.
Allah ubangiji ya taimake su kuma ubangiji Allah ya ƙara taimakon su ya zama taimakon su Allah da rage duk Allah ya ƙara gyara shugaba kai ma za ka ƙara gyaruwa ubangiji Allah ya taimake su Allah ka samu wani abubuwan garin mutum lahiya Allah ya sa daga ƙarshe waɗannan da ya kamata su amana da abin nan su amana a cika da baniya.
An opening prayer by the Education Secretary, local government. With this, Alh Aminu Musa Kanoma for the welcome address. The acting chairman, sir.
The directors, the ESs, the UNICEF gentlemen, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to this program. Cash transfer, I usually, permit me to speak in Hausa because this is the language I understand very well. Cash transfer, I usually say what I tell my yara, vulnerable children. Don't samu waɗanda ba su makaranta don samu damar zuwa makaranta ya kamata. Kuma wanda su nake fatar Allah wanda ya sa gama lafiya, ayi abin da ya kamata lafiya kuma a wace lafiya.
By the acting chairman, Zamfara State Universal Basic Education Board, Alh Aminu Musa Kanoma.
Office, the education specialist and output 2 manager, UNICEF Abuja. Education specialist, Sokoto Field Office, representative of Nigerian Red Cross Society from Abuja, Honorable Commissioner, Ministry for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs in absentia, Chairman, House Committee on Education, Science and Technology in absentia, Acting Executive Chairman, Zamfara Subeb, Education Secretaries from Anka, Shinkafi and Tafi local government areas, representative of Nigerian Red Cross Society, who is based here in Gusau, Zamfara State, traditional rulers who have not seen anyone or have not had anybody that is being represented here. Right? Good. Members of the Zamfara State Cash Transfer Program Implementation Unit, LGA Planning and NS officers, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Though there's an observation right from the one who I expected the MC of the program to make formal introductions of all the people that are here so that we understand who and who is there. That one has not been done. That's a minus on the preparation. We better improve. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm indeed highly delighted to be part of this important occasion of the 2-day engagement with stakeholders on cash assistance program under the Safe, Inclusive Learning and Skills for All, which is popularly known as SILSA program. The SILSA program, which is a 3-year project funded by Norway government from 2023 to 2025, covers 10 local government areas, namely Anka, Birnin Magaji, Bukuyum, Bungudu, Auranamoda, Maradun, Shinkafi, Talata Mafara, Safi, and Zulmi local government areas who are benefiting from this intervention by the UNICEF or by the Norway government. 3 of these local governments will benefit from cash assistance program for the first phase of the program, and these local government areas are Anka, Shinkafi, and Tafi, and that's the purpose I think we are here for today. The overall outcome for the program is to increase the number of children, including adolescents, and particularly the most vulnerable, access to safe, inclusive learning and skills development opportunities in Zamfara State by the year 2025. UNICEF has contributed significantly to improving access, quality, quality and system strengthening of the education sector in the state. On behalf of the government of the Zamfara State, we will continue to consolidate on these achievements and want to assure you of our commitment to working closely with UNICEF and indeed other development partners to improve access and quality learning in this our dear state. Permit me, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome each and every one of you to this very important interactive session of cash transfer program. I implore all of the technical officers and the project implementation committee members to demonstrate exemplary behavior at every stage of this program implementation. I believe the result of this pilot will feed into the state strategic plan for the scale up to provide more access to more children to remain and complete education. Lastly, I would like to use this opportunity to thank our supporter, our major stakeholder, the UNICEF, most sincerely for his support to education in the state, and wish to reassure you of my ministry's continuous support and cooperation towards achieving desired goal. We should understand that this is a new administration, an administration that is sincere, and an administration that has the political will to change the landscape of education in this state of ours. We are very serious about what we are going to do. The Zamfara State, let me inform you, is the number 36 state educationally in the country. Number 36 state in the country. There has to be a paradigm shift from that position. As I came in, I have set myself a target, and I expect that target to be achieved through very serious cooperative collaboration with all the agencies that are involved in the delivery of education in the state. Inshallah, by the end of the year 27, when this administration will finish its first phase of assignment, I want Zamfara State to be one in the first 10 states that are advanced educationally. That is the target. So we are going to work like madmen. We are going to work tirelessly. We are going to work diligently. We are going to ensure that we take education seriously. We should not be paying lip service to the delivery and development of education in the state. Most of you here are beneficiaries of free quality education. What is wrong now? That we are not making that sacrifice to ensure that our children also benefit from that free quality education. Why are we so self-centered that all we are looking for is what we are going to put into our pockets and not what we are going to give for the benefit of the state? We have to move forward. We have to make progress. And education has to move forward, because no society develops, no society improves without education by the members of the society who are expected to move that society forward. I assure you, there will be a lot of trainings and retrainings for educational administrators, for our teachers in the classrooms. We are going to work hard, and we are going to improve the welfare of the teachers by the special grace of God. We are going to encourage teachers, and we are going to ask teachers to move out into the rural areas and do their work there. There will be incentives for those teachers that will be ready to go out there into the rural areas and serve. There will be a motivation for teachers who will be ready to make sacrifices. We should be very much ready to make those sacrifices. Ladies and gentlemen, we have no any other state but Zamfara. If UNICEF can come all the way, and the Norwegian government will come all the way to come to Zamfara to give us assistance, to ensure that our children are well educated, our children are given quality education, what's wrong in us making the sacrifice of ensuring that whatever is given for the benefit of education is enjoyed by our children? What will stop us from doing that one? We have a task ahead of us. In conclusion, let me sincerely thank you for your kind attention and wishing us all fruitful deliberations. May the Almighty Allah guide, protect, and bless this our meeting, and I wish each and every one of us, especially our visitors from Sokoto and Abuja, a very safe return to our various destinations. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Recognize the presence and the attendance of the Honorable Chairman, House Committee on Education, the First State House of Assembly, who is here present with us now, and he will be around with us for a period of time to be very sure that it's part and parcel of what is on to go through. And as you can see, part of the commitment, it has not been like this before, but now you can see even the Chairman, House Committee on Education, is physically present. With this, I would like to take permission. There is another program taking place at the Federal College of Education Technical, just 10 o'clock, and I want to be there before time. But inshallah, after the opening ceremony, I also come back here. We'll continue with what we are doing. Honorable Chairman, sir, you are welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Commissioner. The Honorable Commissioner and also the Chairman of SUBEB, the co-hosts of this important meeting, please permit me to stick to the existing protocol because I don't really know the dignitaries that are here, but the rest of the participants and the people of press that are here, good morning all of us. First of all, I must say, I sincerely implore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give the leadership of the education sector the kind of expressions that they have made, particularly the Commissioner, about education in this state, acknowledging the status of the state in the country and the vision they have, and the fact that definitely business as usual is not going to take them there. And I'm really praying, and I'll continue to pray outside this meeting for this kind of, well, life is what we need in this country. To depart from the lip service and the political correctness to the brutal reality of our situation and why we need to change. Because nobody is going to come and do it for us. Anyway, having said that, the CILSA program, like we already have been told, is something that a country called Norway, to which many of us don't even know where it is, not to talk have been there, have decided to target and help us. And remember, we are all one big state, Sokoto state, you know, scattered into pieces now. They have decided to help us. We are together. And we really need to see that these selected LGAs, Chafe, Anka, and Shinkafi, for the cash transfer for which we are here, will really make a difference with it. The idea is to identify vulnerable households that have children that aren't going to school, give them some amount to see if that will alleviate some of the things that are preventing those children to go to school. Because any place where people are ignorant, they are not empowered. They cannot manipulate their resources efficiently to develop. And that's why education is the backbone of any development. Anyone who is not educated, even if they develop, it will be a truncated and short one, not the full potential. So we hope that this will work. And Norway has given us this support, and we are going to work with the state, first and foremost, collaborating with the Red Cross, and of course UNICEF. We are like a conduit through which this support is coming. So we'll try to manage the process to ensure that this partnership succeeds to show results at the end. Remember, in this partnership, the state is the key partner. The rest of us are supporters. So we really bank on the support of the state to ensure that in the selection, which will be led by Red Cross, we really select those that deserve to be selected. And they are made to understand in the process of the selection that while this cash is not conditional, we want to encourage them as much as possible to see that when it is being monitored whether it has made any difference, some of the children in that household, if not all, are now going back to school again and are being taught to become empowered and improve the lot of this state. The bottom line is, whatever amount of money is given, if at the end of the day we cannot say how much it has jacked up the lack of going to school into going to school and into a substantial number, then we have a challenge. So we must be very, very sure that in the process of the selection, we actually emphasize to the beneficiaries, potential beneficiaries, that the idea is they should use this money to alleviate some of the impediments that stop them from sending their children to school. And when we come to monitor, whatever else they will show, you will expect to see that some of those children hitherto not going to school are now enrolled in school. And like the Commissioner said, whether in the rural or in the urban, the rights of the child is the same. They have a right to be given the opportunity to learn and that skill to be able to get empowered and have a reasonable life. So we are expecting that the bottom line is, with the Red Cross, with the state, with UNICEF, we should be able to justify to the Norwegian taxpayers that the money they have put have led to so many children going to school and that they are actually learning. They are able to write their names, write simple letters, and pass exams that are obviously going to be in the language of the teaching of the area we are in. So on this note, I'd like to appreciate Zamfara State for taking the challenge to partner with UNICEF, Norway, and Red Cross in this project. I throw the challenge to you as people who are in this workshop to make sure you understand what is intended here, to make sure you comply and deploy whatever information, skills you will get from here to make this project work. And at the end, I hope after the 3 years, we'll come back here to say, yes, we have got so many children into school. And when we check the learning of these children to see that, yes, they are empowered, they actually learned. So on this note, I'd like to say, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
It tells us why. So the objective is to have an understanding of UNICEF cash assistance modality. So some of you may be hearing cash transfer for the first time. Some of you have been doing cash transfer under different projects. So, but today we want to see how does UNICEF administers its cash transfer in assistance programs. We also want to have an understanding of the criteria that we are going to use to select the 7,500 beneficiaries under the cash assistance for Zamfara State. The essence of this meeting was also to understand the modalities and how to conduct the enumeration, data collection, enrollment, registration of the beneficiaries, how to mobilize the communities to benefit from this program. It's also to ensure that government participation and support is also for these 7,500 beneficiaries is also on course. So we expect that at the end of this 2 days meeting, which is going to be highly technical and rigorous, and it requires everyone to contribute, we will be able to have clear understanding of UNICEF cash modalities. We should be able to, at the end of this, have a clear criteria on how to target the 7,500 beneficiaries in the 3 selected LGAs. We will also be very clear about the procedure for identification, enumeration, selection of the beneficiaries. So it will also be very clear on who is going to be doing what. That is because this is a tripartite engagement between the government, UNICEF, and Red Cross. So at the end of this meeting, we'll be able to identify who is going to be doing what. So this is very important because all of us are key stakeholders to the success of this intervention. So at the end, we will be able to come up with a work plan. Where are we going? How are we going there? Who is going to be doing what? So this, once we are very clear about this, then we can be sure that we are going to reach these beneficiaries, and at the end, we will be all happy to be part of this intervention. So, thank you very much. That's it about the objective and the key results that we intend to achieve from this meeting. Thank you.
Now, as we should be outside.
Give an idea of who is in this hall, so that as we are talking, we know. I think I won't call by names, but I think here we have the education secretaries from the 3 LGS, Shinkafi, Safe, and Anka. We also have the EMIS officers from the 10 CELSA supported LGS. We also have the traditional leaders from the 3 LGS. We also have the Ministry of Education and SUBEP officials also here. We also have the project implementation unit on cash transfers for Zamfara State. They are also here. I think the chair is already seated on the high table. Haja is here. So also in the house we have the acting chairman, SUBEP, and then the chair.
So I welcome you all, and I wish us fruitful discussion, inshallah ta'ala. So as the MC said, my name is Abdullah Nasu, member representing Moru North and also chairman Standing Committee on Education, Science and Technology. So you are most welcome. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Education financing. Now we just talk about budgeting, we talk about is education adequately financed? Now the little that is even coming, is it adequately utilized? These are questions that we will need to answer, and we will need to ensure that we strengthen the system. Yes, we know that the budgetary provision is always not adequate, but again, the little that we get, how judicious is it used? These are questions that we will be asking, and we will be talking with you as we move on 2023 to 2027. Inclusive education is a new priority for us in 2023. Now, when we are buying materials for children in our schools, we are buying books, we are buying learning materials. Do we think of the visually impaired? Do we think of the hearing impaired? Do we think of the physically challenged when we are building our classrooms? How do we bring everybody on board? Are they not human beings? First and foremost, in our activities and our priorities, we should treat people as human beings first, before we talk of their conditions. And so, we will be having a little different engagements to ensure that government and us are working together to achieve this inclusive education. Ensure that everybody has opportunity, have access to quality learning. Climate change education is another area. The global earth warming is not favorable for everybody. It's not favorable for anybody. There are a lot of changes that have changed due to different climatic conditions, and they are affecting our learning. Even our buildings, sometimes they crack because of the conditions of learning. The classrooms are falling off, the roofs are taking off, and all these kind of things. So what are the kind of things we need to do to ensure that climate change is controlled? Because it also has its own adverse effect on us as human beings, and on our society, and on our structures. So these are priorities that we will be looking at. So when you look at all this, you find out that under access, we'll be talking about out-of-school children, included safety, building model on transition and completion, build systems of credible alternative pathways like the Nigerian learning passport I talk about. Then we talk about when you go to learning, we are talking about expanding early childhood education. So we know that a child who starts early and gets the right foundation, learning becomes easier for him as he grows. And I always say that in this part of the country, in the northern part of the country, we have an opportunity to take advantage because every child in the northern part of the country is involved in one kind of learning or the other, from especially Quranic education at very early age. And so when we begin to introduce numeracy and literacy into this, the child grows up and he is not just religiously sound, but he is also technically and academically sound to contribute to the society. So we will be focusing on early, we will be looking at early childhood, foundational literacy and numeracy. Now this is about learning. This is about children who are in class. Are they learning? We want to check. so one of the things we are going to do is to deploy some methodologies that will enhance and bridge the gap between children access to the school, children who are in school and their learning. We'll be building, we'll also be talking about skills. Okay, we're talking about skills, so we're talking about scaling education information system. Now, you know, we have EMIS, Education Management Information System. We're also looking at the Teacher Management Information System. We're also looking at digitalizing the Teacher Management Information. For example, if Zamfara wants to recruit teachers, I have seen, I was in Kaduna last year, and then somebody, the chairman TSB, called me and said, we want to partner with you, we have recruited teachers, but we don't have money to deploy them. I said, you don't have money to deploy them. What does it cost to deploy a teacher? You can see how we truncate the system by ourselves. We are not talking about the teacher, we're not even talking about recruitment, we're talking about deployment. Give me money to know when to allocate a teacher to a particular school. Come on. The teacher management information is going to eliminate that, because from your point of application, you will apply to the school that has the vacancy. So when you apply, your letter comes with the name of the school you applied. And so there's no issue of favoritism. You advertise, we need 10,000 teachers, and we have in Shinkafi school A, B, C, D, we need 2 teachers, math and English. So if I want to go to Shinkafi, I apply in Shinkafi. I cannot apply to Shinkafi and then I'll be posted to Safi. No. So once my letter is out and I'm satisfied and I feel the conditions and I pass, I will get my letter. I don't need the director to tell me where do you want to go. That is the approach of the 20th century, and we're in 21st century, and we're still carrying that, and we want to make progress. Never, it's not going to work. And good to say that the teacher management information system was piloted in 8 states, and Zamfara is one state that was among the 8. As I speak to you now, the Joint Council Committee on Education is ongoing in Abia State. A memo is being presented by Katsina State government on behalf of the 8 states to ask other states to key into the teacher management information system. So we digitalize teacher from point of entry to point of exit. So a teacher sits in his house and applies for leave digitally, and somebody approves. So we need to digitalize the system. We need to make the system effective, and that can only happen under the system strengthening. Next slide, please. Now, this is the crux of the matter. We have key indicators that tell us the story about where we are. And one of the key indicators is the number of out-of-school children, primary and junior secondary, in Zamfara State. Now, unfortunately, this data, we are not looking at Zamfara State, but we are looking at the zone. Now, the northwest, so we have put all across the 6 zones, north central, northeast, northwest, south, south, and southwest. So the percentages are there for you to see. If you look at northeast and northwest, they have the highest number of out-of-school children, 49 for northeast, 49.5, and 40.2 for northwest. So these are the 2 regions that are actually pulling Nigeria and contributing to the number of out-of-school children nationally and globally. So when you go there, these zones carry the large number. So the question for us is this what we want? And these numbers, if you are very careful, we can link this out-of-school children to insecurity. And then when you begin to look at these zones, which are the zones that are suffering the insecurity the most? Northwest and northeast. And so meaning that there is a relationship between out-of-school and criminality. So are we going to allow it to continue? The choice is ours. And now we don't move freely. And it has gone to other, even those with very low indices. While they are busy with criminality, we are dealing with a large number of people who are not productive. And so that's the story. So for junior secondary school, the story is not different either. I was in Sokoto in 2013. I went to Binji local government. In the entire Binji local government in 2013, there was only 1 junior secondary school. And we want children to go to school. How? You cannot be saying one thing and doing another. We need to match our words with action. And so we cannot have 100 primary schools without a junior secondary school. Even with the 6334 system that allows that children transit from primary to the next junior secondary, we are still adamant to provide for these children. All of us sitting in this room, we are the ones, we are the education managers. We are not talking to any, there's nobody that is contributing to education management that is not here. And so it is very important that we look at this. So you look at at the junior school level, we have 47 for Northeast and 38 for Northwest. When we are having something around 6.6 in the South-South and 7.2 in the Southeast, that is a big margin. Who is going to solve it for us? Who is going to address this problem? Norway government? Japanese government? Which government is going to address it? I was happy when the commissioner said it is no longer going to be, because I know commissioner, we work together, so I know him. He said we are not going to do business as usual. And again, we need to do things differently. You cannot be doing the same thing and expect a different result. It's never going to happen. So we need to sit in our different roles and responsibilities. That's why each one of us is employed and given specific roles and responsibilities, meaning that those your small contributions are adding positively or negatively. And so if you decide to add positively, it will surely be added. Okay? So next slide, please. Now, percentage of children in non-formal schools, not attending formal school or never attended non-formal school at all. So we are looking at children between ages 3 to 18 years currently not attending formal education and who attend non-formal education. So again, South-South, 0. South is 0. Northwest, 27. Northeast, 20. North Central, 3.2. What are these numbers telling us? That we are doing well, are we? Are they telling us we are doing well? No. 3 to 18 years, 27% of them are not attending formal education, though they are in non-formal education. Now the question, again, we need to ask, how have we designed the non-formal system to provide lifelong living for those who are not attending formal education? Who is going to do that? Japanese government? We're waiting for German government, right? Okay. Percentage of population is 3 and above never attended formal education who have never attended non-formal. So again, we are looking at those who are not in non-formal, they are not in formal. We have 51 in Northeast and 47 in Northwest. We have 4.0 in North-Southeast and 5.3 in South-South. North Central is following, 23%, even at 23.7. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. And until we begin to see the problem and call it by its name, we will not address it. So we should be talking about a staggering number of 15, 10, 10, even 20. We will say, okay, you are doing well, we should get to 20. But we need to know the context, we need to know our situation, we need to define the problem by the way it is and how it exists in our context. Because what may happen, a strategy that may work in Zamfara may not work in a Bayelsa. You don't expect a Bayelsan to come here and tell you the solution to a problem. We have to begin to speak to ourselves the truth. Those of us in government, those of us who have, because we are a representative of the larger community out there. They have no access to resources of government, but we do. That's why we are paid salary on behalf of them. And when we fail to deliver and they are languishing there, I don't want to use the hard word, but I will say that we carry a burden that we need to offload. Really, we need to raise our consciousness. We need to ask ourselves why. Why am I working? A lot of people tell me they are working because of salary. Now, if we are working because of salary, then you know that I cannot be thinking of the person down there. Yes, you need a living. You need to live. But again, the bottom bottom line is you are not employed because they want to give you salary. You are employed because they want you to deliver service. Correct? Next slide, please. Now, foundational literacy and numeracy. Now we are looking at, okay, a few children have been able to go to school. From our percentages, 60 are in school, 40 are not learning, and 40 are out of school, 60 are in school. Then we have 51 who are out of, who are attending non-formal, but they are not in formal education. Now we are talking about children who are even in the formal school. So we are looking at the foundational literacy and numeracy levels of these children. So these children who are going to school across the geopolitical zones, we are looking at the percentages. Some of you are looking at me. Look at the percentages there and write them. Now, this is mixed data 2021. This data is as 2021. We have needs data, we have the mixed data. This is mixed. And now for North Central, you can see we have 21%. Only 21% of children who are going to school can efficiently be able to read simple sentences and do simple arithmetic. 21%. Northeast, 11.7%. Northwest, 9.5%. You see, do you see how the graph has changed now?
Yes, yes.
You people have come like this. These people have come like this, already working in 10. Leaving 4. If I were state government, I would take the 4 without negotiating. But unfortunately, I am not the state government. So I'm talking to the state government. So, state government, we want to leave the 4 LGS out of it. They will still pull you back. So let's think about it. Specific objectives. As I said, it is all about creating safe and protective environment. Next slide, please. What is the CISA project coverage and beneficiaries target? The project is, as I said, is in 2 states, Borno and Zamfara. We are targeting 70,000 learners to benefit from the different interventions. 70,000 for Borno and Zamfara, 50,000. So we are targeting 120,000 learners to benefit from the intervention at the end of 3 years. So this is going to be on skills, it's going to be on foundational literacy, it's going to be self-school, it's going to be on everything. Now, we are talking about teachers and facilitators. Now, of course, the learners cannot benefit without the teachers. So for Borno, they are targeting 1,500. This time, they have given us equal number to deliver. Zamfara 1,500, Zamfara, Borno 1,500. So we are targeting 3,000 teachers to benefit from different interventions in terms of capacity, in terms of methodology, in terms of other skills that will help them to deliver quality learning. Next, please. Now, you know, there's what we call direct beneficiary. That's the person you are talking to. I'm talking to you directly. When you get back, you talk to other people. So those people you talk to are called what? Indirect. So when these 5 direct and indirect beneficiaries, so if we're able to reach 70,000, 120,000, and this 100,000 through their own intervention, through other things that they're able to do, they are going to affect an indirect number of 500,000. Now, for example, if you have a child in primary 1 or primary 4 who was not able to read and write, and in his house, in the family, there are other children who are in other schools that are not benefiting from CILSA. This child will go back and teach these other children. So they become indirect beneficiaries on this project. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, of course, with 3,000 teachers, we are hoping that indirectly, 12,000 teachers will also benefit. Next slide, please. So, as I said, UNICEF works with what we call outputs. So, outputs are a customized design to help us focus and deliver. So, CILSA project is also fitting into this system. So we have 3 outputs, 1, output 2, output 3. Just like I said, when we were mentioning our priorities, the priorities are now summarized into these 3 outputs. So here we have educational governance and planning. Here we strengthen the education capacity to develop costed plans, public financing, and budget tracking. Under output 2, we are talking about equitable and inclusive access. So are children attending formal or non-formal, pre-primary and basic education? Now under APU 2, we are looking at innovation. So we have these challenges. Now we have a situation where children can stay at home, whether on holiday, whether by strike. You know, we have strikes in Nigeria. I think there's one that's looming already. Okay? Labour is already, I don't know if they have started or they are still thinking, they are still considering, they are still. So whatever it is, now maybe it will lead to children closing and staying in school. What we are saying here is that under innovation, we have innovated the Nigerian Learning Passport. The children continue their learning even when they are home. Okay? So we only need to take advantage. Parents, we need to get aware of these opportunities. So these are the 3 output areas that CELSA is going to be delivering. Next. So under output 2 is where we have the cash transfer. Now, this activity 2.3 is to strengthen community-based organizations to enhance demand for education and provide unconditional cash grants and incentives to the most disadvantaged families in targeted catchment areas. This is the crux of today's meeting. We are here today to look at this output. So this is one out of many activities. Today we are here to look at the cash transfer support system. So we're going to see how we are going to be working with the communities, how we are going to identify who should benefit, what families and why should they benefit. And that's why we are partnering with Red Cross, who have been community-driven, have been community-based organizations. They work at a very lowest level of governance. And so we believe in their capacity and we know that they can help us because UNICEF, we have some limitations in terms of where we go and when. And therefore we look for people who are more vibrant and who have the accessibility to engage. And so Red Cross is bringing into this to work with the government to see how we can be able to reach this and ensure that we deliver this. So this is why this meeting is being summoned today. So we're going to go into serious discussions and I will be at the gate to see those who will leave after my presentation. Because you would have left everything that will happen today. Because what I'm doing, I'm just talking. The main thing has not happened. Okay, next. Now, how do you measure what you have done? Of course, this takes us to the key performance indicators. So in this output, there are about 6 indicators. And the first indicator is number of states established early warning system. You remember we talk about safety, right? So for us to talk about safety, we need to be sure that we have a system that detects early warning and gives us early warning on the kind of crisis and emergencies that we have. Number of schools demonstrating safe school standards. We are also trying to, we will also see under the CELSA project how many schools have been able to do that. And part of what we have done is that we have even provided some safety kits for schools to see how that can help in providing some kind of security. Okay? Now, the one highlighted in yellow is the indicator that refers to this meeting. Number of children who receive unconditional cash transfer for continuing education. You see, the unconditional cash transfer is not for them to sit at home. The unconditional cash transfer is for them to go to school. So you are giving them the cash transfer because they tell you poverty was the reason why they drop out. And so you are giving them cash transfer to start, the family starts some businesses to support the child go back to school. So in as much as the cash transfer is unconditional, it has some caveat. It is purposeful. It has a direction. It knows what it wants to achieve. So we are not going to distribute money. It is not the one. We are not distributing palliative. It's not palliative. It's a purposeful cash transfer. So it is targeted at children who could not go to school because of poverty, because of very difficult circumstances. And so these are the children we are targeting. So we are targeting 30,000 children under the CELSA project. And Zamfara is going to take 7,500 children are going to benefit in Zamfara. Maiduguri, 22,500. So, and that's, so this, how do we know whether these people have benefited? The means of verification could be the banking system, because it is going to be, they are going to be, it's not me that will give them the money. It is not Red Cross that is giving them the money. Their banks will disburse the money. And so we will check, the bank will tell us who they have given the money based on what we have given to the bank. The bank is not going to verify who is, because if I'm asked to verify, I could verify the person I want to pay. So the verifier is different. The person selected is different, and the person paying is different. So it is about checks and balances. It is about creating a system that works, a system that gives us the result we want. So other indicators under this, which might be coming up at other different fora and other engagements, number of conflict-affected children receive psychosocial support and EOR messages. So what it means here is that in times of conflict, in terms of displacement, there is a psychological effect that affects children, parents, and everybody. So how do you support those people to come out of that trauma? Then number of schools with functional GBV, gender-based violence, reporting and response mechanism. So when there is a violence on the child, do we have a reporting mechanism? Just 2 years ago, a head teacher in Niger was found to be violating young girls, about 9 girls, one head teacher. And the children couldn't report because there was no reporting mechanism. So we need to put this in system so that a girl, a boy, because it could be a boy, a girl molesting a boy, it could be vice versa. And so, but do we have a mechanism in place for reporting to address this before the worst happens? All these are things that guarantee safety. You have seen a situation where girls are not going to school because of a teacher, a particular teacher, who is frustrating her, or a male or female, but nowhere to talk to, because the system does not exist and does not provide that safety. So we want to build all this. So these are the key indicators under this output. Next slide, please. Next. We are back to square one. Thank you very much. So, I will take 2 questions. If anybody does not understand what CESAR project is all about, what the program seeks to achieve, you have any query, please, I will take 2 so that we can go for our tea break. Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm sure everyone knows that the quality research. The other slides shows this one. So in the east, southeast, there is a 0 at the first quadrant. Then also in the south is also 0. So these are the children between 3 to 18. So in the other one here, the statistic of the data goes up to 4.0. That is in the southeast. And also in the south is 5.2. And also here you see the percentage ages between 3 and 4. So I did more clarification there. Because the one is 0 and now it was off.
Thank you. So when you read the description of the indicator, if you read